If Hollywood's first big outing of 2024 is anything to go on for its future prospects of this year, oh boy, it's going to be a tough road to hoe because Joe Coy trying to do a bunk impression of Ricky Gervais because the Golden Globes needs all the help that it can get. Back in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, back when people cared about the general goings-ons of celebrities, entertainment, Hollywood in general, that used to be the fun little get-together prior to the big show that the Oscars were, and now, well, they're all just kind of lumped in that same ideological bubble where it's all Orange Man real bad, no human is illegal, walls are for our gated communities, all of their different political stances. The movies that are up for nomination, they kind of play second fiddle to everybody's pet ideology, and if you happen to just go ahead and poke fun at anything that they're doing, well, they will make sure that you are thoroughly excised from the group, never to be seen or heard from again. So yeah, bringing up some kind of guy whose routine mimics that of knock off Bill Burr, knock off Louis C.K., like Joe Coy, he's been around for a minute. He's been, working the scenes. He's not quite at that same upper echelon as those guys that I mentioned before, but Hollywood wanted to try to recapture some of that attention that they had the last time that anybody was really talking about the Golden Globes when Ricky Gervais was up there roasting the entire room. They didn't want to do that again. Heaven forbid we had real stars in the crowd this time around. Hell, Taylor Swift even graced us with our presence. That should do wonders for our ratings. But he ended up overshadowing, or his not very great performance ended up overshadowing the awards themselves. I guess Oppenheimer won a bunch. I think Christopher Nolan, Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr. ended up taking home a bunch of trophies, and the rest of it's like, who really cares, okay? Like, if Barbie's actually being unironically nominated for anything, you're in trouble. But the way that they handled this award ceremony, which I won't hold it against you if you didn't even know that this was going on, because frankly, I'll say it, outside of seeing a couple of reports of this, I had no idea it was going on either. Hollywood trying to show this self-deprecating side, and then at the same time also re-enshrining all of their protected classes, is typical entertainment in 2024. So let's take a look at this. Hurt Joe Coy reacts to Golden Globes hosting blunder. It's a tough room. The Golden Globes for the most awkward award show host goes to Hurt Joe Coy. Oh no. Appeared to be licking his wounds while appearing on GMA 3 Monday after he hosted the 81st annual Golden Globes on Sunday. I had fun, It was the moment that I'll always remember. It's a tough room, Coy 52 said when appearing on the daytime news program. It's a hard job, I'm not gonna lie. I'd be lying if I said it doesn't hurt. Hosting is just a tough gig, continued the quote-unquote comedian. Yes, I'm a stand-up comic. Couldn't tell by your act on stage. No, but that hosting position, it's a different style. Yeah, because if you're too funny, well, you're going to take away from all of Hollywood's elites. And if you're not funny enough, you never get asked to do it again, okay? Or if you're that special type of unfunny, you get asked to come back year after year with the likes of Jimmy Kimmel and all that act nonsense. They asked if there was a specific moment that he regrets the most. Coy said his joke about Taylor Swift in the NFL was definitely one of the jokes that fell flat. It wasn't even that bad, to be completely honest, okay? Like, it was fair, it was well constructed, but because there is no sense of humor in that entire audience without a script put in front of them, it ended up falling flat. You can have some of the funniest material if you're a blue comedian and that's the way that you work, but if you go and decide to do your routine at a church gathering, it's probably not going to land all that well. So that's kind of what ended up happening here. I think it was the Taylor Swift one that fell a little flat. It was a weird joke, I guess. It was fine, and it probably worked in rehearsals, but somebody probably decided to switch it up a little bit for their image. But it was more on the NFL. I was trying to make fun of the NFL using cutaways and how the Globes, I didn't have to do that, Coy explained. It's funnier when you have to explain your joke. So it was more of a jab toward the NFL. Please, Swifties, don't come after me, don't attack me, because I ended up taking a passing shot at your quote-unquote queen, but it just didn't come out that way, Coy admitted. So the joke in question came during Coy's nearly 6.5-minute opening monologue. Oh, God, that would have been death for the rest of the show, but okay. Where the Easter Sunday Star, I'll take your word for it, the big difference between the Golden Globes and the NFL. Oh, what's the difference between the Golden Globes and the NFL? Oh, let me tell you, is that at the Golden Globes we have fewer camera shots of Taylor Swift. They cut over to Taylor Swift, and she just sipped on wine like a 34-year-old empty egg carton. Oh, yeah, that was not the host's only blunder of the evening. But yeah, if looks could kill a career, you would have to be apologizing the next day on a daytime talk show. Coy, hired by the award show a mere 10 days before the ceremony. Ooh, yeah, that's tough. You don't even have time to work on your material. Okay, now that I know that, I don't really hold that much against him. I never really thought much of him as a comedian. It's kind of like the rest of the industry in general, but he only had a week and a half to work on stuff. That's tough. And she also took the job, so it was 6 of one, half a dozen the other. Several celebrities declined the job, blaming the writers for the jokes that failed to get a laugh. Yeah, because he's just the presenter, okay? Like, I'm sure he works on his act. I would advise probably getting some ghostwriters there, too, because it's not that great to begin with. But if you gotta come out and you gotta work clean material, which is gonna be hard enough to begin with, and then with a group of people that are so up their own asses, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, especially if you're the type of comic that Coy is. Yo, I got the gig 10 days ago. You want a perfect monologue? Yo, shut up. I wrote some of these, and those are the ones that you're going to laugh at. Like I said, I didn't write all of these. He went on. Someone else wrote one. The comment also seemed to piss off several of the singer's legions of fans, the Swifties, who immediately hopped on social media to denounce the funny man. Yeah, exactly. That's all that ended up happening. And then couple that with all of the blank expressions in the crowd as well from all of the people that are still traumatized from what Ricky Gervais did to them about 10 years ago. And then they were probably also suffering from PTSD when he ended up winning, funnily enough, for best stand-up performance. Stand-up comedy had its own category. Ricky Gervais ended up winning on that one. But look at this. Look at this. This is the audience that Hollywood has cultivated. Okay, you can't even make jokes about the most rich and famous people in the entire world in one of the most privileged settings. They're the ones who want to bitch and complain about, wealth and power inequality. Unbelievable. Congrats, you pissed off the most intense fandom. Enjoy your snakes, one Swift fan commented on Instagram. Unnecessary rude joke about TS. Just not nice. Being a host doesn't mean insulting people. Fewer cutaways than the NFL. That's akin to saying that she's a thin-lipped spinster about 6 cats away from a midlife crisis. Like, is that what you're going to put on equal footing there? Unbelievable. Absolutely deadly glare from Taylor Swift. Joe Coy's football joke was all of us right now, wrote another fan on Twitter. Coy later managed to shake it off. Get it? That's a Taylor Swift song, by joking. Maybe she was thirsty. Maybe she just needed to drink the champagne. Yeah, no, exactly. Tough crowd. Hey, I get no respect when I'm telling my jokes. But if you want to go ahead and drink the trough that is the Taylor Swift fan, that's what you end up getting, Hollywood, because if you are just going to go out there and you're going to get some B-list comic to come out there and host your next show, are they going to take a look at that and just go, wow, that's a very tame joke. Why would we take this job again? For some virtue signaling points, some kudos points? Maybe we'll potentially get a spot on ABC or show that ends up getting canceled, or maybe we'll end up getting a streaming show down the line. Okay, great, wonderful, fantastic. I don't think it's worth career suicide into the future. That's what you wanted. That's what you ended up getting. All of the gossip, man. Because award ceremonies, it's interesting. It's one of those things where, if done for the right reasons, they can be highly necessary. And if not, you just end up with scenarios such as this. Why do I think that they're necessary? Is because sometimes there's exceptional cinema, exceptional art that gets put up there. And those people who work their bags off, not like, the current crop of people who's like, we work so hard. Shout out Rachel Zegler. I stood in that costume for 18 hours and I deserve to get paid for every hour I did that. No. Sometimes there are some people, like everybody who worked on the Lord of the Rings trilogy, okay? They deserve their accolades. They deserve their recognition from their peers, from the industry. 1000%, okay? Sometimes you get seminal performances from Russell Crowe in Gladiator. He deserves to get recognition because that is an all-timer role. And even still, I hear great work. I hear great things about what Christopher Nolan just recently did with Oppenheimer and Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr., and the rest of the cast there. It sounds like they did a phenomenal job out there. So they definitely do deserve to get their accolades for that, for doing something tremendous and entertaining so many people at a time when Hollywood in general is not at all that concerned about putting out something quality into the theaters as opposed to proselytizing. Those issues are few and far between. Instead, they just want to spin this into a big old gossip rag. I thought we got rid of this after, the National Enquirer just kind of faded. All of those supermarket, those checkout gossip rags that are right up there, the impulse buys that just have, headlines like Bat Boy emerges from the caves, or won't believe who so-and-so is sleeping with. Instead of keeping that resigned to that specific part of the industry, now you just want to go ahead and apply that to everything else that's out there, and that's why you end up getting such clickbaity headlines like, why Emma Stone, who also won a Golden Globe on the night, called Taylor Swift an asshole backstage at the Golden Globes. Well, they're both some 35-year-old spinsters that are just joking back and forth. I've known her for almost 20 years. I'm so very happy she was there. She was nominated tonight, and I'm very happy that she was there, but what an asshole. Ha ha ha. Oh, it's just so much fun that we just have back and forth, just little catty jabs that we can do because that's fine, because we're friends. Not the comic that they hired to host that's on stage making incredibly tame jokes. That's fine. No. Continue to make it into some spectacle, something that makes you look like out-of-touch assholes because, okay, why was Taylor Swift at the Golden Globes? Well, she had that concert film, okay, that did exceedingly well. Okay, you can kind of understand that, and the rest of the people that are in there are either old legacy winners or people that are currently nominated for stuff. It all totally makes sense. Why is Dylan Mulvaney at the Golden Globes? Why are we doing this? But shouldn't that be an old anachronism that you leave back in 2023? No, this just confirms how out of touch Hollywood really is. Transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney appeared on the red carpet for the 81st Golden Globes in Los Angeles Sunday night. Mulvaney posed for the cameras as she, walked into the ceremony almost 1 year after the controversial Bud Light promotion. Yep, April 1st will be a year. That should be fun anniversary to celebrate once we get around to it. Mulvaney posed for the cameras as she walked into the ceremony, and perhaps they were using Mulvaney being there to leverage, the wildly popular TikTok account for documenting her transition, but is now known for controversy surrounding her failed promotion of what was America's most popular beer for 22 years. The brewing giant created a limited run of Bud Light cans with her face celebrating 365 days of being a girl, a phrase she used to describe her transition. Yes, of course, but there you have Dylan right there, walking the red carpet for what reason exactly? Like, what was the purpose? Why was the invitation afforded to this absolute huckster? It makes no sense at all whatsoever in a vacuum. In a vacuum, of course, but when you take everything in totality, it all makes a hell of a lot more sense because the entertainment industry in general is far more concerned with appearing to be good, well-intentioned individuals as opposed to putting out anything that is actually good or well-intentioned. Perception is reality, and when you can perceive something as goofy as this being rewarded with an appearance at a very exclusive event, well, it all starts to make a little bit more sense and realize why this is a dying format. And, well, we'll be talking about the 181st Golden Globes. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.